I had a intense year. This morning I sent a text message. I had anxiety.
Why is that?
I haven't talked about this yet, but
Justin Baldoni is an actor, filmmaker, and a New York Times bestselling author.
Her husband Ryan, several years ago. So I met Blake a few times through Ryan on that film.
got it.
And thought she seemed nice, and little did I know. Some people, now that it's a function on Twitter and Instagram, there's a couple people that I have muted.
Good.
Yeah.
You can mute people on Instagram?
Yeah, it's a new feature.
Really?
I know. Get excited.
A feud had been brewing between Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively since 2018, when they were co-stars in the movie. A Simple Favor, however, became fully blown with It Ends With Us, saga between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. So is it a case of Anna picking a side in the battle or something more?
Mama thinks I'm living in a convent. Why do stage-struck maidens clamor to be acting in the drama?
Anna Kendrick has managed to stay away from negative press since her early days as a child actor. She made her debut with a 1998 Broadway musical, High Society, which earned her a Theatre World Award and nominations for Featured Actress in a musical at the Drama Desk Awards and Tony Awards. With such greatness revealed, she moved on to make her film debut in the musical camp. This earned her a nomination for the Independent Spirit Award for Best Debut Performance, and then in 2008, the world knew her name.
Now that we've grown up, they want a serious answer. Well, how about this? Who the hell knows?
Kendrick became highly famous in 2008 for the fantasy romance Twilight, where she played Jessica Stanley, a friend of protagonist Bella Swan. Then the next year, she returned as Jessica Stanley in the Twilight sequel New Moon, earning her first leading role in the crime thriller Elsewhere, starring in the comedy The Mark Pease Experience, and starring alongside George Clooney in Up in the Air. She performed incredibly well in the lead that she raked in several nominations for many Best Supporting Actress awards, including the Golden Globe Awards.
Walk on by.
Then we all know Pitch Perfect, which was her most successful film of 2012, starring as Becca Mitchell. She added a very nice feel to the movie that earned her positive acclaim from 2012 through to 2014. Many of Kendrick's movies were a hit, bringing in the cash and good commendations. In 2015, she competed in the first season of Lip Sync Battle against John Krasinski and won, then returned as Becca Mitchell in Pitch Perfect 2, which was a major box office blockbuster that even exceeded the success of the first film. Through the years, Anna has featured in movies ranging from comedy thrillers to musicals, starred in animations, and most importantly, stayed away from drama. When she's to be described, there is a mention of her quirky and relatable nature, her outspokenness, wit, relatability, and self-awareness. Some publications have described her as America's sweetheart, and she has once been called one of the funniest women in Hollywood. All these good descriptions are because she never got involved in anything messy. In fact, in 2016, Allison P. Davis of The Ringer stated that Kendrick remained likable by avoiding backlash majorly associated with overexposure. And then in 2017, an Elle writer described her as warm, friendly, and honest with none of the typical celebrity reserve despite her fame. But all that will to avoid getting involved in any messy business hit a stumbling block when she met Blake Lively on the set of A Simple Favor in 2018.
Her husband Ryan, several years ago. So I met Blake a few times through Ryan on that film.
Got it.
And thought she seemed nice, and little did I know.
Before A Simple Favor, Anna only knew Blake from a distance. They had met a few times through Blake's husband Ryan Reynolds while shooting the film. The voices and Anna had thought her to be nice. However, when they met on set, the truth came to light. It all started on the set of the movie when Blake Lively refused to just read her lines and act as instructed. Like every other actor, she needed to have input on costume design, writing, and every other aspect of the project. This approach to work initially portrayed her as hardworking, but as the project progressed, it became clearer that she enjoyed being the main character in every way. Of course, this didn't sit well with many others cast alongside her, but they did her bidding for the success of the movie and were eager to part ways afterwards.
Be an actor. Like I want to have more authors.
Those like Anna, who had initially given her the benefit of the doubt while working together, got to realize the truth after seeing the interview from the 2022 Forbes Power Women's Summit. In the interview, Blake admitted that she never felt fulfilled. From just taking direction as an actress, that she needed to have a say in the costume design, writing, and all aspects of the project. She also made things a lot worse by saying that wherever she was called to discuss her role, she always made it seem like she was just there to be the actor and ready to get the gig without revealing that she actually needed to have authorship in order to feel fulfilled. Blake also made it known that many producers and directors had resented her for overstepping and for the bait and switch, but she made it clear that she'd go for what she believed in regardless of how it made others feel. Blake said it's just as important to say, okay, I believe in this, and that's why I'm standing up for it, and that's why I'm being difficult, and there are other moments to go, am I in the room? What is happening here? Although she added a clause about the importance of checking oneself. It's always important to check yourself. It's important to stand up for what you believe in, and it's also important to surround yourself with people who feel like they have a voice, because collaboration is so important. Her actions indicated that she was more inclined to act first before taking a look back at her actions after the interview. Those who were going to work with her braced themselves to be pushed to the sidelines. However, Anna Kendrick didn't anticipate featuring in a project with the Gossip Girl star so soon, so she missed the memo, and things got a little dicey between them when Paul Feig announced that there'd be a sequel to A Simple Favor. Sources say Anna wasn't particularly thrilled when she found out that they'd both be featured in the project again, due to flashes of some of BL's actions during the release of the first movie. Besides trying to be the center of the project, Blake had gotten into Anna's bad books during the interviews done to promote the movie. While they were promoting A Simple Favor in one interview, Blake had shown signs of jealousy when she made a comment on how she might never get to be a Disney princess. Without a voice like Anna's, although to viewers that seemed like a compliment, but Anna knew it stemmed from Blake always wanting to be in the spotlight, so she responded with, "Oh, Muffin, it's so hard being you." Blake's envy became more and more obvious. In that same interview, when she scolded the interviewer for directing the questions towards Kendrick and not her, "What about me over here?" Blake had asked and Kendrick had responded with, "Oh my God, guys, don't fight just because I'm the best at everything." Despite these subtle jabs at each other, they were able to keep their rift hidden until things took an ugly turn in 2024 when they started production for another Simple Favor. The first issue arose over who should get top billing in the movie credits.
Want to trade confessions?
No.
Come on. What's the wildest thing you've ever done?
In the original film, Anna had gotten top billing over Blake, and so she thought the same would happen in the sequel. But Blake came with her lengthy demands as usual, and this time requested the top billing. Sources say Blake fought through her reps, and Anna refused to bow to Blake's demands like she normally would to avoid unnecessary drama. Finally, after weeks of back and forth from both parties, an agreement was reached between both parties.
People, now that it's a function on Twitter and Instagram, there's a couple people that I have muted.
Good.
Yeah.
You can mute people on Instagram?
Yeah, it's a new feature.
They agreed on something called staggered billing, which meant Anna's name would read first, and Blake's would be above hers. But on the right-hand side in the Hollywood biz, this approach is known as equal billing after reaching this agreement. Both parties were not pleased with the outcome, but had no choice but to come to an agreement. This little rift between the two stars would have been kept quiet if the whole Justin Baldoni saga did not happen for those that have missed the full details. Let's go back a bit from the moment it was announced in 2019 that Justin Baldoni was adapting the best-selling book. It ends with us into a film. There was a widespread frenzy. Besides the book being a bestseller, everyone couldn't wait to see who would play the notable characters, and fans became even more excited when they found out. Blake, who rose to fame in the 2000s in Gossip Girl, was cast as the main character. She was described as the perfect choice to play Lily Bloom, a young woman who suffered domestic abuse as a child and wound up in the same situation years later.